My name is Samantha Winslow, and I'm the owner and founder of the Performance Horse Academy. I have taken a lifetime of data and research and put it together into the best program you will ever find for a barrel racer. As a former gymnast and coach, I totally understand how individuals need different things to move properly to keep themselves sound. With intervaltiming.com, I collected 13 years of data and analysis and helped bring my two roads together, biomechanics and barrel racing. We have the only results guaranteed program that we can get your horse sounder, we can get you clocking better, and we can help you to understand why there's no one line to the first barrel, why every horse needs something completely different, why some horses need more space in the turn and others don't. If you have a certain style that you like, we can help you find that in a prospect, and so many other things. We will show you what makes you tick and what makes your horse click.
Every single one of these lines is a different run on the screen. It's a different full set of interval timings. And this is one of the most fascinating things to me, is because people do the same thing over and over on the line to the first barrel and around the first barrel. And it looks like it's gonna clock, right? Because these first two sets of splits, if we look at our 16.6 second run, Amanda Butler was 3.769 seconds, you know, from the line to the first barrel and around the first barrel. And when we look at Lynette, it's like Lynette is 3.485, and you're like, holy shit, she's clocking way faster than a 16.6 seconds by 3/10. But that's why it is so important to have a straight, a turn, and a straight, because it tells a more realistic story, because Lynette consistently gives up a minimum of a half of a second in between her first and second barrel, which is apparent on these two runs. Differences between 16.6s and 16.4s, or 16.8s and 16.6s. And again, if you want to bump it up to a 16.4, watch the change in the posture of the body. See that? See, again, we have that uncoordinated, and then he starts too soon, right? And then he wants to finish there. And see, right, how the horse is doing a forehand turn. We've got the horizontal center of balance downhill. And Lynette's as handy as they come. And you can see the horses have to make this big lunge. You know, we got a ninja move coming up here so the horse doesn't take down the barrel. But you can see now the line to the second barrel, right? She's over a body length clear. And again, we're that 10 feet on the wrong side of the second barrel. So we're going to have to make that S coming over. And when we have to make that S, it's also a much longer line. Now, I talk about adding 15 to 20 feet onto that 90-foot line. If you're 10 feet on the bottom side of the second barrel, you're for sure going to add 20 feet on, right? Because now you got to get back up over up here. That we've been talking about the importance of sneaking up on the timer line. You know, Haley Kinsel has to sneak up on that timer line. She doesn't have to sneak up on it quite as much on an indoor pen, but outdoors she sneaks and gets as close as she can, because she knows that sister gets going
you know, really fast, really cool. Like that horse builds speed, and she will get going too fast. We can deal with too wide in the front. We can deal with too much rocker, but if you can't sit in a neutral position on the saddle, if you have any pressure whatsoever on your gluteus medius, if you have any kind of a hollow back and your shoulders are either behind your hip bone or in front of your hip bone, no bueno. That is no good. You are putting way too much pressure on the front of the bars, and that's going to be pure misery, and you're going to wreck your horse's top line. You know, kissing spine is like the word of the year along with COVID, but so much of what we're doing to restrict our horses' movement with our bits and stuff like that, but also if all of your pressure, if everything's on the front side of the teeter-totter of the bars of your saddle, that's also causing that compression of the spine, right?
As we stop the front end from working, that's when the whole posterior muscle group becomes atrophied. And what the horse is doing is, instead of taking a proper stride, so what a proper stride looks like is like what a good wiggle walk looks like, right? We use the whole range of motion of the joint, and there is movement through the side body and through the ribs, right? So when our horse does that with their hip, we should see like say this is the SI joint. We should see the SI joints coming up and over and around, right? Not quite that dramatically. But what happens is when we restrict the front end, so what it does is it tenses up the neck. They shorten the stride in the front. So what happens? Well, the hind end can't take a full stride either. And so what the horse starts doing is doing more of like a shuffling, and they wing out to the side. And that's why we get the overdevelopment of the quadriceps and the gluteus medius.